Hey girlfriends, welcome back to my channel. It is Lauren, aka Lolo of Good Girl Chronicles. Let's get into it. Get in here, girl, get in here. There's this guy I follow on Instagram. He's so fabulous. He has a really large following. He's always like, get in here, girl, get in here. I'm not gonna put you through my intro today, but if you're new to my channel, welcome. I talk about love, sex, relationships, everything in between, and the rebuilding of my life since I was homeless for an entire year. Girl, I basically just wanted to take every bright color in the Jaclyn Hill palette that I don't normally wear and slap it on my face. Up close, it might look like a mess, but from far away, I'm like, am I serving? If you don't know, I am a makeup enthusiast. I am not a makeup artist, gosh, I wish. And so on my days off, I like to play with color and lashes and all that kind of stuff. One of my favorite makeup palettes is the Jaclyn Hill palette. I have volume 1 and 2. The most like vibrant colors are in 2. So I was just, wait, no, that's 1. Girl, where did I put volume 2? Shoot, where did I put her? Where's she at? She's right here. I honestly I've learned a lot about makeup just playing, watching a lot of YouTube, that kind of thing. Oh, this was volume 2. Gosh, am I really, I was like, I haven't hit pan on a lot of these, but oh my gosh, isn't that like the best? That's volume 2. This is volume 1. She was like one of the first YouTubers, like makeup YouTubers I started watching. But anyways, okay, that's not what we came here to talk about today. I had an interesting week. I decided to make a big decision and get the Moderna vaccine, which is one of 2 COVID-19 vaccines, and wanted to show you a little bit of that. Hey girlfriends, it's me. Today I am getting dose 1 of the Moderna vaccine. I am a peer specialist and I work at a mental health facility helping people in early recovery from drug addiction. And so we're part of healthcare workers. You know, I won't even lie, like I definitely have been nervous about getting the vaccine. And I was like, I'm just not going to get it because I really don't go anywhere and I minimize my risk. But I want to do my part in changing the pandemic. And from what I've read, I think like 80-something% of the population needs to take the vaccine for like it to be effective and for things to turn around. Then of course, you know, you sell yourself on getting the vaccine and then you read something about like someone having this awful, terrible adverse reaction. So I am nervous about that, but I really don't have anything pressing to do after this today. So if I'm not feeling hot, I could just go home. I heard the second dose is where you feel it the worst. So, So yeah, from the other coworkers, I think they've gotten their second dose like the 3rd or 4th week after their first dose. So they've asked for us to sit in our car until our appointment time, and hopefully this goes quick and smoothly. And yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. Hey girlfriends. All right, so I just got this shot. It took about an hour between waiting in line, going through the questions, all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of people there, which was like, you know, good and encouraging to see. And so yeah, they like went through the screening twice, asking you questions about like, you know, have you traveled, have you been exposed to COVID, blah blah blah. And so I got it in my left arm and I feel okay. Yeah, and it didn't sting or anything like that, so that was really good. But I do have like weird freakish allergies, and I've had like allergic reactions to grass, mold, or whatever, and I've had swelling of the lips, tongues, and eyes. So because of that, they had me wait for 30 minutes to just monitor me, but I feel good. I have a little headache, but I think that's just because I'm dehydrated. So yeah, I'm done. I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to get this vaccine. I honestly wasn't going to do it, but then like I saw a lot of my coworkers who were getting it done, and I do work in a healthcare setting, and so I just want to do my part, y'all. Just do my part. Good morning. I'm literally the worst at vlogging. The worst. It has been 2 days since I got my Moderna vaccine. Yesterday, I won't even lie, I got it in my left arm. It was like, oh, it hurt. It's still a little sore a little bit, and there's a little knot right there from when they injected it. Also, the other day, I went to the gym yesterday morning, and I was doing a workout class, and I felt myself get so winded so fast. And I was like, I wonder if that's like because of the vaccine, because like I hadn't done anything different. But yeah, it's been 3 days since I got the shot. I'm feeling okay. And I've been watching all these stories about a lot of, minority communities who either A, are not getting the same access to the vaccine, which is really awful. And then two, a large amount of minorities who are scared and worried about taking the vaccine, and culturally, why people of color generally have a distrust in the medical field. And yeah, I won't lie that like I was like nervous about taking the vaccine, because normally vaccines take years to develop, and these vaccines were developed so fast. So of course you're like, oh, that's a little suspect. And I was also like, I was watching the news about all these awful side effects for people who had awful things happen to them after they took the vaccine. I'm like, well, I don't want that. Like, I really do all I can to minimize my risk. But when I realized a lot of my coworkers were taking it, people in their 30s like me, and a lot of them had felt okay, I was like, well, I felt a little bit safer. When I went to the clinic, when I went to the clinic to get my shot, they gave me a lot of information about it and like where I could go and like research potential side effects. So I go back in 28 days after the first Moderna shot, you get your second one. So I'll go back March 17th, I believe is my date. And that is the day that I hear people say it's really challenging. I was talking to some other people in the health profession the other day, and this one guy who was older, he said after that second shot, he was sick for 2 days. So kind of nervous about that. So the day of my shot, I'm not going to schedule anything that day or the next day just to prepare. So I'm in bed with Boo right now. It's a Friday, and I only have one meeting for work today. And so we're just laying and cuddling. We're like on our third day of rain here in Virginia. You know what it is like about like rain and this weather that just makes you want to just lie in bed. But about to get up, get ourselves ready and presentable for this Microsoft Teams meeting. And yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on how I'm doing on the Moderna vaccine. If any of you decide to get it, oh girl, I'm looking at myself right now and I'm like, I can't believe I'm showing y'all my morning roughness. If any of you get the vaccine, I'd love to hear how you feel. What are your concerns about it? If you haven't got it, drop it in the comments below. I know that's a really tough decision for a lot of people to make on whether to get the vaccine, because they were made really quickly. Like normally vaccines take like years to make. And there's some trepidation about taking a vaccine that was made like within like record time. Also, as a person of color, I acknowledge and also understand the distrust that the Black community has of like the health medical profession for like a lot of reasons, and I definitely was nervous about that too. I am a healthcare worker, or I'm considered a healthcare worker. And I was told by my employer we were going to have the opportunity to get the vaccine, and I was really on the fence about it, but I saw some other people my age getting the vaccine. Then I got really scared again because I saw this news story about a seemingly healthy person who died from the vaccine. And I just really had to pray about it. And it's like, God, I'm putting this in your hands. Like whatever happens, I know that you're going to help me endure it physically, mentally, or whatever. And I do want to get back to meeting the clients that I work with in person. And if me having a vaccine helps that, then I want to do that. And also I understand from what I've read, in order for us to like kind of become what's the term for it? Like we need 82% of the population to get the vaccine, and for us to like build some like herd immunity to it. And I want to be part of that effort, like all of that stuff. So I'm feeling well. I got the vaccine. So it's like been like 5 days since then. My arm is so much better. This is the arm I got it in. And there was like a little knot there where they put, where they shot me. That swelling has gone down. So yeah. I don't know if I share this with you guys a lot. I work with people in early recovery from drug addiction. I don't like using the term drug addicts, even though a lot of my clients will say, hi, my name is, and I'm an addict, because I feel like saying I am is such an identifying, defining thing to say. Like, I'm even trying to get better about saying I am depressed rather than saying that I'm someone who is living with major depressive disorder. I like to say I work with people who are in early recovery from drug addiction, or I work with people who are in recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like, that mindset's different. And even in the world around substance use disorder, that language is different. Like, remember back in the day, we used to call it substance abuse. We no longer call it that. We call it substance use disorder, because we're coming to know and understand that addiction is very much a brain disease. That was a lot of information for you. I just wanted to share that. Whenever I describe my job, I always say I'm working with people who are in early recovery or recovery from drug addiction. So, but I wanted to talk to you about two things today. Well, the Moderna vaccine wasn't part of it. I want to talk to you about love and happiness. Primarily sex. And I want to talk about happiness because I feel like the last couple of weeks, as I've been coming out of this depressive episode, that's still a journey that I'm on. And I was thinking to myself, isn't it interesting that the Declaration of Independence doesn't promise us happiness? I was thinking about this the other day. It promises us the pursuit of happiness. I actually looked up that phrase in the Declaration of Independence. It was like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? America has promised us, right? We've seen a lot of breaks in the system where those promises are not working for everybody. We'll just say that. America has promised us that every man is created equal, right? And that we are promised the pursuit of happiness, whatever that looks like. And what we call the American dream is 2.5 kids, house, white picket fence, this, that, and the third. And we've seen over generations that the idea of the American dream and that happiness is different. So I was thinking, okay, we are promised the pursuit of happiness, right? But then what's the blueprint for the happy? What's the blueprint from the happy? And I really thought with myself for a second, and I remembered this Bible verse, like one of the first verses I've ever learned. It is Psalms 37:4. Psalms is an amazing book to read because it's got just so much encouraging words in there if you're like new to the Bible. But basically, Psalm says, delight thyself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. That's what I thought about, because I was like, God, where is the blueprint for happy? I'm about to graduate school. I'm going to be 37 this year. What's the blueprint for happy, God? Like, I'm content with my life. I can say that now that I'm not feeling as depressed. But God, I don't feel happy. You know what I mean? And so I thought of that verse. And then I was like doubting myself. I went and Googled it. What does the Bible say about happiness? And it brought me back to Psalm 37:4. It's like the Lord was saying, I told you, girl, it's that thing that I told you. So when I think about happy, I think about, okay, God, if that's part of the blueprint, if that's what you're telling me, what are the desires of my heart? And I haven't thought about that in a super, super long time. And I think I've had a couple people share with me over the last couple of blogs and vlogs that they struggle with what happy means for them too. So if you're in this same boat, ask yourself, what are the desires of my heart? What are the things that you long for? Let's say if money wasn't an object, what are the secret dreams you have in your heart and you don't know why they're there, or they've been there since you were a kid? Those to me are the intrinsic desires of your heart. And so I've been thinking a lot, what are the desires of my heart? Because we're girlfriends, I'm going to share with you some of mine. I have always felt like I've had the gift of gab. But TV told me being in television also taught me that I'm a storyteller, and that is something that is always the desire of my heart. Always. I like sparking conversations. I like being part of conversations. I like telling stories. I like entertaining and educating people, which is why I do want a career in media, because I feel like I have a lot to say. I want to elevate people's stories to a certain magnitude and for us to all grow from it. I was on this dating website and this guy asked me, he was like, what did he say? He was like, if you were a superhero, if you could be anybody in the world, who'd you be? And I think your response to this question is like taps into the desire of your heart. I was like, I'd be Oprah Winfrey, and not for the reasons that you think. Is she rich? Yes. But Oprah has power to create content and to get people's message. She's got the power to tell people's stories. And I would love to be in a portion of life where I had the power, platform, and magnitude to say, I'm gonna do this documentary about this thing or this person, and you need to look at it because it's important, and we're gonna have some conversations because of it afterwards. And so after I said that to that guy, I was like, gosh, this is part of the desires of my heart. As hard as it is for me to suppress, I do want to be in a romantic, healthy, loving, godly relationship. Yeah, I want that. I want that with someone who no one is perfect. I'm not expecting the perfect man or someone without baggage, but I do desire a life partner, someone who's like, yeah, this is my baggage, this is yours, like I accept you and love you, and that grow together. I want to cover and protect and honor you. That's a desire of my heart. I do desire to be in healthier shape because I do have a lot of health issues in my family. I've always wanted to run a half marathon. Like, that's been on my bucket list forever. I want to be physically able to carry out these desires that I have in my heart. I want to travel and see the world and meet different people and experience different things. I want to be financially stable. That's a desire of my heart. So I really have been sitting with that. And as I have been thinking, I'm going to start writing them down because I think it's important for you to write down your dreams and plans. Then I started thinking about fear. Girl, then I was scared. I had all these reasons about why I can't fulfill these desires of my heart. And I think this is where a spiritual walk is important. So last night, it's so funny. I fell asleep on the couch, and there's a certain point of day on cable where it starts to go into like the religious programming. And in my sleep, I could hear that the religious programming was about rebirth and like being made new. And then when I woke up in the morning, the program that was on, the pastor was talking about fear. And the scripture I'm going to meditate on this week is Isaiah 41:10. Girl, I like said that and I shed a tear. And the whole sermon was about how so many people can miss their blessing or their opportunity or their calling because they're afraid. And he studied a lot out of the book of Joshua about someone who God came and said, listen, I'm giving you this profound calling to lead the Israelites into the promised land. Whoa, that's freaking heavy. And in all of that, God said, you cannot fear, I am with you. You cannot. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, God, you woke me up for this today, that you're trying to help me love myself enough to honor the desires of my heart and that they're worthy. And I'm telling you, God, I'm scared. I'm scared. And yeah, try not to cry my makeup off as I say that. I'm scared of failing. There's some nights where my anxiety gets me in a corner and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to live by myself one day. What if I fall into another depressive episode and I don't survive that one because I'm by myself and I isolate? Like, this is where my mind goes. And fear is paralyzing. I can't tell you so many things in my life that are not happening and I'm paralyzed by because I'm afraid. And I want to break free from that. And so I think I'm going to be in prayer and meditation about that. I really am, because I'm not going to lie to you. I am trying to rediscover what the desires of my heart are. Those things that are inside of me that excite me about life and people and things. And my fear now is like, yeah. I also wanted to talk to you, girl. So the last 3 weeks, I was like, I'm going to make February the month of love. Let me just say, thank you so much if you bought one of the self-love t-shirts. By the time you're watching this, the sale will be over. We sold 8. I bought 1. Can't wait to try that on for you. So thank you. I'll be giving the proceeds to Vocal Virginia, which is a nonprofit in the Commonwealth dedicated to mental health advocacy and strengthening the peer workforce, which is what I do for a living right now. And so when I thought about self-love, I think we think of self-love and accepting your body, particularly if you're a woman. And I do think that that's a really big thing for women because we are taught what beautiful is, and a lot of us don't fit into that box of beauty. I'm a Kardashian fan. I love them, but I also know that like that attainment of beauty is like not really normal or average, but that's what we're taught. And I'm 36, so I kind of grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and we didn't have body positivity. If you were a plus size woman or whatever, you were not cute. Like when I was a teenager, 10 was plus size. I still think that it is actually. And I'm like, do you know what I would give to be a 10? That's not plus size. Anyways, so as I'm, telling myself these mantras of like self-love and things like that, I've been trying to be comfortable in my own skin, and that has included standing in front of the mirror naked. Like, okay, I honor my stomach. It has a little extra fat layers, but I honor it for what it is. I honor this and my thighs and all of that. I really am I want to lose weight for health reasons, but in the process, I think it's important that you love where you are. I also think it's important that even more important that you love what's underneath. Like I generally can say that I'm okay with my own company. I think I'm funny and quirky and very bright and determined, and I have a lot of really great leadership skills and things like that. But I do struggle with self-image like a lot of women. And so I posted what some people would call thirst traps. And when I think of a thirst trap, what I posted is not a thirst trap. I basically just showed that I am a curvy woman with thighs. I'll share some of the pictures with you. What's interesting about the reaction that I got, it was really good for my self-esteem. I actually have been following a lot of plus size models, one of which her name is Stella Williams. Oh my gosh, this woman, her transparency, her honesty, her boldness, like I'm here for all of it. And I'm glad that now we live in a culture that is more body positive, that realizes that beautiful is not like this cinched, like sort of type of thing. And so that's been really good for my self-esteem. I think it's important that we find role models that look like us. Like, so I'll put Stella's information down because she's really amazing. She has a great YouTube channel. She just celebrated a huge milestone of like being on YouTube for 5 years, having, just the girl's just slaying. She's got like all these brand deals. And I love when I see plus size women in the beauty community because that's the reality of like what I saw growing up in Mississippi. That's the reality of what's around me. And beauty just comes in all shapes and sizes. But another interesting thing to the reaction to some of my thirst trap pictures, girl, do you know what other women are posting? I got some very interesting responses from the male community. And it was cute, but it's no longer attractive for me because I think there comes a point in a woman's life where being the object of someone's sexual arousal is not enough. It's not enough. It's cute. Yeah, it's cute. And I think for a long time in my 20s to early 30s, a man wanting to go to bed with me or being attracted to me was like such a huge deal because I had in my mind this programming from being a high schooler and being the ugly, funny friend. That was my role, y'all. That was my role. I was a lot more full-figured than some of my friends. I was super quirky. I was not smooth with guys. I was everybody's homegirl. And so in my late 20s, when men started to responding to me like, wow, she's sexy, it went to my head a little bit. And I made some really stupid choices in love and sex. And I am glad that I've matured, that I understand that like what the type of intimacy and love that I want doesn't come because she like them thighs. Like I want someone who's gonna sit with me as I do life. And I say, I'm afraid to take this leap and I want to do this thing and I'm depressed today. And what do you think about Jesus? And this, that, and the third. Like, I want a full partner. Like, just the sexual part is like not enough. And so I'm glad that I'm at that point, because I understand. Because if I wasn't, I think some of the reactions I got over the last 3 weeks would went to my head. Do you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like the first time you put on weave, okay? When I was in high school, what I mean is, like, if you put out a thirst trap for the first time and then likes start coming in. When I was in high school, I wore like braids, like box braids. The Janet braids were like really big. But then I got like a weave, like a girl. I put that sew-in weave. I started flicking my hair. I did not know what to do with myself. It was an intoxicating feeling, okay? Because I don't know Black women in my life who naturally have this wavy, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh God, take it from me. Take it from my hands. I don't want it. This is too powerful. I can see how some people can get caught up in the like and love world we live on in Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. But honestly, I yearn for deeper connections nowadays. I'm back on online dating. Speaking of which, I recently did an interview with a guy who has a show called The Brother Leon Show. I've been on his show twice. It's like a podcast, and we talked about my online dating experiences. I'll put the link in the bio if you want to listen to that. I had a lot of fun talking to him. Why did I mention that interview? Oh, I was talking about dating sites, and I met someone on a dating site who has expressed to me that, like, you know, he's got some healing to do before he would consider dating me. Oh, maturity. So we're building a friendship, which I can't say that I ordinarily do with men that I date that I want to do. And it's different. Like, we talked about racism today and what my dreams are, and music and different types of music. I mean, like, that's what I want to, like, evolve into, that type of relationship where I'm like someone's real friend and not just, you know, a girl they get to smash because we're official. It also really reminded me that, and this I think will be a talk for another day, talking about why I think it is dangerous to raise children with unhealthy images of sex and sexuality. Because it shapes so much of who they are and what they do and how they love and how they partner. And my parents did the best they could with the tools they were given, but I was taught a lot of shame and guilt around sex. I was taught a lot of slut shaming and dirtiness. And those are things in my 30s that I still tangle with. And I want to break free from that. If I ever have kids, I don't want to pass that on to them also. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, to say the least. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers and the homegirls who've been rocking with me from day one. Thank you. I'm going to be preparing for my first speaking engagement in like 5 or 6 months. I'm so excited about that, and I will give you some more details on that. It's super exclusive, and there's only going to be 21 women allowed to be in this space for COVID reasons, and so we can really give the intimacy to these women that they deserve. But I'm excited about this speaking engagement and getting back on the horse. And girl, March, April, I have like 10 weeks before I graduate. Isn't that crazy? When I think about that, in early 2017, I was in a homeless shelter, and now I'm about to be I'm gonna graduate with my master's and have a real shot of having a career in media or marketing. God is just so good, y'all. He's just so good. Thank you guys so much for following this beautiful thing that I call life. I would love you to hit subscribe. My S's are not coming out today. I would love you to click that subscribe button and join me on the journey. You can follow me on all platforms at Good Girl Chronicles LLC. As we say here at Good Girl Chronicles, I love you. I love God more. See you next time.